sekund. Ja pozriem na telefonie, że już nam to nabehło. Już nam to nabehło, to jest w porządku.
So good afternoon to everyone watching us online on Facebook and YouTube. I would like to welcome you to our fourth online workshop with the framework of the initiative Slovak-Norwegian Culture Matching. The title of the program today is Culture Policy Supported by the Digital Tools. The workshop is organized by Creative Industry Košice and Urban Space Lab and supported by Iceland, Liechtenstein and Norway through EEA and Norway grants. So today we will talk with Tom-Erik Lønnerød about the project Artistfriendly Skien, Grete Rokstad about her project along the coast of Telemark, where artists are curating culture and shedding light on the needs of the citizens, with Matúš Smoleň about the association Digital League that has developed various projects for the artists, and with Lucia Pašková about the association Bystriny, which is at the forefront of searching solutions for handling the current refugee influx in Slovakia. So a few technical details before I give the floor to our speakers. So workshop is streamed on Facebook page of Creative Industry Košice with interpretation to Slovak language. But for audience which would like to listen to the event in English language, you can use YouTube channel. The link to YouTube is in Facebook event. So during and after each presentation, you can ask questions in English or in Slovak language through Slido. And I will speak no longer, and we can start with the first presentation. So I will just introduce Tom-Erik Lønnerød, who has been working in the culture department in Skien municipality since 2005, laying the groundwork for the new generation of professional artists. He's also artistic and managing director of Sprinten Art Hall, founded in 2012. The art hall houses a dozen artists, exhibit a wide range of contemporary art, and hosts a concert series where the public is exposed to experimental sounds and improvisation compositions. So Tom, please start with your presentation.
Thank you very much. I'll just share my screen real quick. Yeah. Well, thank you for the invitation and thank you for the presentation. As was said, I am managing director of the Kunstnerbyen Skien project, and I'll present that now. I guess Kunstnerbyen Skien, it translates to City of Artists or Artist City Skien. And I've stated a question, what makes an artist-friendly city? And I'll try to answer that during my presentation with some examples of how we are working here in Skien. I thought first I'd give a little background on the city of Skien. I guess not all of you are familiar with it, but Skien is a mid-sized Norwegian city, population of 55,000, located 2 hours just west of Oslo. Skien is a city with quite a rich history and one of the oldest cities in Norway. And innovation, I guess you can say, and later industry has played a very important part in shaping the city. The place where I'm sitting right now in the old liquor factory is part of an old industrial plant located right in the city center, funnily enough. And our biggest claim to fame in Skien, of course, is that the playwright Henrik Ibsen was born here a while back. And I'll also give some background on the project Kunstnerbyen Skien. It is a municipal initiative aimed at attracting professional artists and creative industries to Skien. And the project was actually initiated by a local politician, which is quite helpful when you are relying on financing that is decided upon by local politicians. So we're kind of lucky in that way. We can just say, you started it all, and now we need funding. And around the time when Kunstnerbyen Skien was established back in 2006, there was research done on the living and working conditions for professional artists in Norway, and results were kind of depressing. Most artists in Norway earn less than minimum wage. Very many are dependent on others to survive, their spouses perhaps, and many have to juggle more than one job. So we made a point of this when we presented the project for our politicians. Skien as a community can take a stand and say we want to secure the working conditions for artists in our community. And that is what we managed to get the politicians to support. So we're doing that in three different ways, or three steps, if you will. So step one is securing money directed to artists through scholarships and residencies for professional artists. And step two is to secure a working place for artists. So we have subsidized long-term studio rentals that we can provide to professional artists. And we have the last step, which is arenas where artworks can be presented at a low cost and low risk for the artists. So I'll just take a few minutes to talk about these three things that we have set out to do. This is a list of the residencies that we have had in Skien since 2006 up until now. This is a scholarship and a residency for professional artists. The residency in Skien lasts for 12 months, so it's quite a long term. And the artist who gets the residency also receives 170,000 kroner. In addition, the artist gets a free apartment in the city center and also free studio here at Spriten Kunsthall. So it's quite a good thing to offer artists. This is the actual apartment that we give the artists. This is Victoria Durnak and Audun Mortensen when they had the residency back in 2016, I guess that was. So the second step is the studios. Back in 2007, we started renting out studios at the old liquor factory here at Klosterøya in Skien. The liquor factory, Spriten, it used to be a side factory to the big paper mill that was located in Skien. And when it was shut down in 2006, we immediately saw the potential in renting and taking over the building. It was rather run down by then, but luckily most artists aren't that picky, so we established 15 studios here at Spriten Kunsthall. And when we celebrated 10 years in 2016, we established 6 new studios in the city center. So in total now, we rent out studios to more than 20 artists. All the studios are subsidized by Skien kommune and have long-term contracts. And it plays an important part in securing the artist economy. This is just a quick view of all the artists who are renting at Spriten just now and at the city studios at HIT. They all present a kind of broad range of artistic expressions, and the mix is quite important, we feel. So the final step, I guess we could say, was establishing different arenas for artists to show their work. When we had like the scholarships and the studios, we started thinking we need a place to present the works and arenas to produce the works. So when we started renting out the studios here at Spriten Kunsthal, we also refurbished a large mechanical workshop into what has become Spriten Kunsthal mainly. It is a 150 square meter hall with 8 meters to the ceiling and with a working 5-ton crane in the ceiling. It's a very versatile space, and we can house all sorts of projects and exhibitions and concerts and events. And we opened the doors in 2012. This is the one example of exhibition in the hall. And later in 2016, we opened a second arena, a small artist-run gallery connected to the studios in the city center. This is an altogether different kind of arena. It's almost like a looking glass gallery with a small but beautiful space. So at Spriten, which is our main arena, this is some of the examples of the content which we present and produce. Main idea and some of the reason why things are working is the mix of these different expressions. And also Spriten Kunsthal is just as much a production space as it is a place to present finished works. It's kind of a large-scale workshop in many ways. And there are actually not too many of those kind of spaces around in Norway. And because we are publicly financed, we don't have to think too much about commercial considerations when programming. So we can keep a kind of an experimental focus on what we present. So of course we have an annual exhibition program, but we also do performing arts projects, and we have a concert series for experimental music, and we also have a little publishing house. Some more examples of works that have been produced at Spriten. So I guess to answer my initial question, what makes an artist-friendly city? I think actually it's the mix of production, presentation, and stability that is really important when you want to secure that the artists have the possibility to work and to thrive in Skien. Yeah, so I think I'll stop there and open for questions.
Thank you very much. I'll just look at the slide if we have. Oh yeah, we have some questions. So, how did the citizens of the city perceive the program? What is the yeah? Do you have enough audience? It's very experimental. So
yeah. We kind of we talked to the quite a mix of audience. Of course, we don't really reach out to the broad spectrum of everyone in Skien, and I don't think our projects and our program is aimed at reaching out to everyone. But I guess we do reach out to those who are interested and open and kind of curious to what today's artists are interested in. So in that ways, we have a kind of a limited audience, but we have a very interested and what do you say, kind of an audience that is willing to invest time and to listen to what the artist has to say.
I really liked your comment that you are publicly founded, so you can do experimental projects, which is really nice. Yeah. For me, if we think about culture policies in this context, like how do you choose which projects are shown in your spaces or which artists are coming for the residencies?
Yeah, we see that the artists who are applying for our residencies are kind of the artists who are used to being at residencies, who travel a lot and who is kind of not rooted in one place. And it's kind of the residency that we have are for 12 months, so it's not for everyone. But at the same time, we really get to know the person who has it. We really get to produce some artworks, which would be, I guess, more difficult if it was lasting for 3 months or 2 months. So during 12 months, we really get to produce something that has value, and we get to know each other so that we can perhaps work more closely together afterwards as well. And that is a nice thing that we see that all...
Sorry, we cannot hear you. Tom, sorry, we cannot hear you. No zase nepočuje. Aha. Tom? Napíšete mi do chatu niekto? But we'll see if Tom can fix it.
I guess there is some trouble with the sound.
Yes, we can hear you now. Yeah. Can you hear us? Tom, can you hear us?
Still trouble with the sound, or what?
We can hear you, but can you hear us?
No, not until now.
Okay, you can hear us now. Okay, great. Sorry, we just lost you somewhere.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know what happened, but yeah, I would just continue with asking about the residencies, because for me this is an interesting question. Because I was running the residency program for a long time, so and I have experience with 2 or 3 months process, which I see very often that it's not long enough. But sometimes, like our partners or some artists are pushing to make it shorter, which I'm always trying to push it at least for 3 months. But I would like to ask you, what is the process? Do you have any application procedure, and do you accept international artists?
Absolutely. Yes, we have an application process. So there's an application form at the Skien Kommune website. And the deadline is August 31st each year. And then there's a jury that decides the one who gets it. What was the other question?
If you accept international applications,
yeah.
And I also have a question here from Slovakia. If you accept also like artists who are at the beginning of their career or only established artists?
Absolutely. International artists are, of course, welcome to try to get it, and we aim at choosing artists who are in their early career. Actually, it's often more exciting than the well-established artists.
Thank you. And there is a question about funds. So if the program is fully supported by municipality, or if you also apply for international grants, or how do you operate? Here is a specific question about curators and producers, like if you pay them from municipality or if you have external grants for them.
I would say it's a mix. We apply for the national grants here in Norway. Okay. We don't really apply too much international grants, but I guess if the right project comes along, we can do that. But we mainly get support from the Norwegian Kulturråd, Cultural Council, I guess it translates to. And when it comes to curators, we pay them from the gathered pot of money, which is a mix from municipality and state and region.
Mm-hmm. And here is also another question about political support. So if you are supported politically, and if it's growing, or how it is?
If it's, sorry?
If it's supported by, like, if there is political support to this type of activities.
Yeah, locally we have, of course, the local politicians are very much involved in deciding if you get funding or not. The question arises from now and again if we are to get continued support. But so far we've been lucky and also good at getting funding, so we're safe for now. But you never know with politicians; they can change their minds.
Okay, and I have maybe one last question for you about the process, because you were describing like 3 steps which are the most important to support artists. How did you come to these 3 steps? How you identified them? Did you speak with artists, or did you get inspiration from somewhere? How did you create this?
It was a mix. The most important thing was the research that was done just the same year as we started out. We kind of thought differently in the beginning, but when this research was published, we kind of immediately saw that we needed to secure some way of letting the artists do what the artists are supposed to do, mainly not to drive a taxi all night and then try to do some artwork during the day. So that kind of identified the focus quite quickly. So we started with the scholarships and the residency and the studios, and then after a while we kind of saw that we needed somewhere to let them exhibit and show their work as well, and also as a kind of a tip of the hat to the public, that it wasn't just like closed door, but that we wanted to open the door into the artist's work. So it kind of gave itself in a way, but we of course also spoke to a lot of artists here locally, and we saw what was done nationally and internationally, and we kind of immediately identified that we had a really good mix, and that we kind of had a unique kind of space and focus that we could like secure all three steps in one place in a way.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you for your answers. And we will go to second speaker, Matúš Smoleň. Matúš, hello.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hi. Matúš is a co-founder of a software company, Blue Lemons. His creative approach to development helped many startups to grow. In 2020, he participated on founding educational project Digital League, where they developed more than 10 projects which help social and culture organizations. Hi, Matúš. So please start with your presentation.
Hi. So let me share. Can you just confirm that you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
So let's start from beginning. Hi, everyone. So basically, what we're doing here in Košice, we started a Digital League program. It's a non-profit organization where we trying to connect digital enthusiasts, digital creatives, designers, and other people with the skilled professionals and non-profit organizations. And we are helping them to connect with each other and produce these products which can help social organizations or some companies, non-profit companies, to develop digital products. So basically, Digital League is a program where it longs, or it's for 6 months. And in these 6 months, you will go through the process of developing the digital product. It can be mobile, web app, some platform, or maybe some improvement in a digital solution. And in that process, there are many steps, many positions. We work with the designers, we work with developers, with product owners and scrum masters. Basically, we create multidisciplinary team with these enthusiastic people and connect them with the professionals. So we are communicating with the companies in Košice. We have a strong development society here. So we connect these enthusiasts with the professionals, and they are helping them with the mentoring and with some small workshops to develop their skills and create these digital products. Also with that, we work with some coaches, and we work also on personal development within these teams. So it's good teamwork and presentation and stuff like that. But basically, what we do and what is our vision and the main product here is the helping this small or bigger organization which are not having enough funds, or which are not in that business position that they can afford to create some digital product, for example, as a mobile app or web app, or maybe just as some digital solution for something improvement. And we find a strong community of people which are related to the culture and who are responsible for the culture in our city and maybe around. So we start thinking about something to connect them with our digital solution. So, for example, we spoke in a local theater here in Košice, and we decided that they might need some improvement in the digital sphere, where they wanted to still, we are speaking about the COVID times, they wanted to still be connected with their users. So we had our first meetings, we discussed it, what are their needs, what can be done within the culture, so it would not die in these hard times of COVID. And we came with a solution for them, and then we've been developing the solution for 6 months as in our project, and went well. And that's just one of many projects we did in the same way. But for the culture, or for the products which are related to culture, we also created a platform here in Košice for let's say the people who are maybe a small businesses, small creators, or some small companies who are creators. And we created a platform where they can connect all together and discuss some benchmarking, or if they want to just connect with the community. So for the teams and people who are in our project or in our program, this is something what we are very open. We don't have a specific, let's say, just as a small group of people who can join the program, but we are spread it around. So we are open for anyone who want to join. It can be also skilled developers. It can be just as a starter developers. It can be students. It can be someone who is not related to the digital industry at all. So we are just creating this community who are like maybe just interested in the digital product. So we're trying to connect them with the professionals, and with this communication and with that skills of professionals, we're trying to produce these products for these non-profit organizations, and basically just as with low cost, create some good projects which are stable and still have the skills. And within the program, there are a few steps of producing the digital product, but we are copying the commercial industry. So we're starting with some analysis for each project. We'll have a long discussions with, let's call them clients, but these are non-profit organizations. And we discuss what are their needs. We're trying to find out what are they group of people who are interested in that group, or we're trying to find as many improvements that can be done within this digital product. Then we continue with our own design sprints and design thinking procedures, where we are finding the best solution for them. And after we are done with this analysis, we are going to development and designing these products. And through the process, we also communicate with these non-profit organizations, and then they are giving us feedback, and we're trying to do the best solution as we can. And the products or finalization of the program is a product, and these are maybe a few products we've created. These products are mobile or web applications. We've created an application for connecting and events with some charities, where this within this application was a connection between big events. It starts with also with a COVID solution, so people can join some event and they can send some money to the charity, or they can choose that they can add some money to the ticket, and this money will go to the charity. And this was just as a concept. So this application is still in I would say testing mode, and then we are trying to find out what we're going to do with this product now after this event industry is open again, and basically want to produce this product into production systems. So again, we can connect these organization companies or event companies, and they can connect them with this culture producer or creative minds, and we can build something together to support the creative minds within the events and do so. Also, we had a project for this application for, as I spoke before, this platform. It's called Culture Cake. And this was this platform with where we connect these creative minds with each other and with some other organizations. And the interesting thing if you can see the Culture Cake illustration, this was created by the Brutto. And this is non-profit organizations who work with the people who are brain damaged or something. So we are connecting also such a communities with us, and we're trying to produce also with them some good and digital products which will help them, this non-profit organization. And these products are I think we have right now more than 10 products. Also, we work with government. We produce a few applications for like government of school, which helped the communication during the COVID time, the school within the state, and so on. And I spoke a few times about this platform. these are just as a screens, how it looks now. We're switching it to the new designs, and we wanted to create something what's going to be spread it maybe not in our city, but maybe for the whole Slovakia, maybe then go to abroad and make this application good for benchmarking, to connect with each other and to communicate, have their profiles, and to have something what is used by many culture in companies or culture creatives. And at the end, our vision is still create such products which will help not only some small local organization, but maybe create something bigger. And what we are trying to do is to connect this application with the real users, because in the developing of this process or in the process of developing the application, we sometimes find these black holes or some problems which need to be solved on a commercial side, and usually it helps, or we support these things with our commercial company. And but our vision is not only to create products which will be just for presentations, but the products which will really be used by the many of users. And that's also good for the people who are joining this program, because they can really feel that feeling of production, that something was built, something is used. And for some applications, we have more than 8,000 users, which is for local, like Slovakia, it's pretty much. But that also means that we need to maintain these programs or products. And we also take these developers or designers back, and we're trying to improve, maybe after the program, do some additional programs just to maintain and create more or better versions for that product. So that's where I would end, maybe with my presentation, and you can go if you have any questions and open for discussion.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I have a couple of questions here from Slido. What is the feedback from the culture organizations? Could they increase the audience? I don't know if it's about audience, but do you have any feedback from culture organizations you work with?
Yes, we work with this local theater. We also had a discussion together where we discussed this problem, what they have, what they need. And end of the discussion was that they are not sure actually what, because basically the theaters and every culture industry, they want people to come to their places. They don't want to see it on a digital, and they don't want to work with the digital products, because they are like the art, and they want people to come to their events or whatever it is. So basically the feedback was that they are maybe a little bit scared of the digital products or how digital products can change their industry. But we also had a good discussion about, like, let's not take it from that side, but let's look at the big picture, and let's see what or how these digital products can help to produce more of these users for this culture, arts or culture products. So that means that we wanted to build something what will not create or what will not take these users from these culture organizations, but what will bring new users, let's say a new community of youngsters, or maybe some community which is not found yet and maybe doesn't know about such an art and culture events and whatever it is. So we discussed it, that this would be a good way to go.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And do you see a demand from culture organizations growing even after COVID for these digital solutions?
We don't think it should be like after the COVID. There is a still, I would say, post-COVID situation, but many events, many organizations are coming back to life, or maybe they're just growing. Because I know a lot of cultural organizations during the COVID, they improved their stages, or they've been working on the inside, and now they want to show and spread. And I think now it's also a good time to open this discussion again. Like we are after COVID. We've developed some products during the COVID. We had some situation then, and what can we achieve with these products now after the COVID? I think it would be a good discussion, and we're definitely going to make it.
Thank you. And can the digital solutions change the business model of artists? It's like more theoretical question.
There's a good book actually for it's called the Blue Ocean, and it means that we can create maybe the whole different industry. We can create something what maybe is not known by us now, but with a digital product and art, it can be something very new. And I have a few good examples or how that's achieved within VR. If you know these modern technologies, you put your glasses on and you can go through the street, you can see some digital art inside, or basically there are a lot of options within these 3D modules where you can go inside virtual reality and maybe go to see actual art. So just as if you can imagine to go to the theater, but you're sitting in your couch, but you're wearing these glasses and you're in the theater and you're seeing like the real-time actors. So I think there are many options, and I think we're still at the beginning of this digitalization of art. But at the end, as for myself, I still like to go to theater by myself, not go only on the digital side. So I think there are still a few things what might change, but at the end, I think still the emotions are still in that place and will not be replaced by digital industry.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. Like I think that we all became tired of all the especially if it's something like theater or concert where you really need also this emotion transferred to you. That we all got tired of these types of especially if it's just like online streaming or something like that. And for me, important part of the event is to meet people before and after, which digital tools cannot provide in really this full experience of this.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of rival, to the event, to theater or concert hall. Yeah. My last question for you is which product is your favorite, which you developed? It doesn't need to be cultural. And why? How did you ensure that it's successful? Because this follow-up for me is very important, because this is something you can design something really great in design sprint, but then this follow-up after is very important. So which product is successful and your favorite in these terms?
So I have right now 2 products which I'm very excited for, but they are not developed, but we're working on them now, and that's very exciting. And that's the culture cake and this one solution for commercial side, and it's 3D modules, and we work with the VR. It's very exciting. But what we have, I very like the application we created for the soccer industry, and you can see the live scores and stuff like that. And it's very, very initiative or very user-friendly, and I like the application.
So many people are using it, and it's successful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Matúš.
Thank you.
Thank you. Grete, are you here? Hello. Grete?
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Welcome. So I will just read your bio and we can start. Okay. Grete Rokstad is an interdisciplinary artist working with a variety of projects along the coast of Telemark. Living on an island, she forages both materials and local stories, finding inspiration in things that are close at hand. Greta is passionate about making spaces where people can meet and create. She curates culture happenings, shaping ideas and bringing them to completion. Island Festival, Floating Culture House, Community Gathering spots, and Coastal Gallery. Each project depends on collaborations with other enthusiasts with common goals. So please, Grete, start with your presentation.
Yeah.
Hello.
I want to share my screen. Let's see. Here, yeah. Okay. As it has been said, I'm living on an island, and I've lived there for 20 years. Every day I go for a walk, and I love walking in the forests and along the coast. So this picture is what I meet when I go out the door. Let's see. It's not working.
Du får ikke bildet til å skifte.
But yeah. Yeah. So I see all these little things which inspires me a lot. So it inspires me in making my art. So it's good to be nearsighted, but when zooming out, it looks like this. You can see Sandøya, the island where I live. It's quite close to Brevik, just a 10-minute ferry trip. And you can also see Skien, where Tom-Erik is working, which is about 30 minutes away. It's very close to the mainland, but still very peaceful and quiet. But it's very vulnerable living in a small island. We have to have a ferry to get out there. Without the ferry, I don't think that people would live there. And the school is also very important. So when these things are threatened, we have to fight. The authorities, they thought that there were too few students in the school, so they said that they wanted to close it. That was back in 2008, and it was really serious for us. And then we thought we had to do something. So we were looking at what resources we had. We had a beautiful place. We had lots of people with different skills. We had we knew a lot of people playing music and doing art, and we had some audio and lighting equipment from an early project. We had contacts in the cultural department. So then we decided that we wanted to make a festival. And we wanted to be more visible, and how to do that? We on the internet we found this circus truck. It's just amazing, and also this tent. It has belonged to a magician. So we went across the mountain and bought it and came back with it and started the festival. We invited a lot of musicians and artists. They were both locals. Many people in Sandøya plays music and are doing art. And but people came also from the mainland. There were a lot of up-and-coming artists who wanted to play for us. But we had no fee to give them. So, but that was all right. We gave them a nice day, good food, and they had a nice place to stay. And they fought together with us. This is an example of the festival program in 2011. We had this festival for 5 years. So this is the third year. And we had 22 concerts in 3 venues. And we had, let's see. We had 5 exhibitions, 3 lectures with focus on environmental care. We had a festival street with lots of activities for children and a lot of stands. And we had people making food for all for artists and all the guests. At this time, we didn't have a grocery store on the island, so we had to make all the food ourselves. And we had, you can see from the map here, we had the 4 places where you can, the festival street, and the yellow. And there was something for everybody. And I think that the musicians and the artists, they had a real good time here. It was very big and a lot of work to do, making bed and breakfast for 60 people. And we don't have any hotels or anything in our island. So people had to stay in private houses and in boat houses and all over the place. You can see the the small red houses, they are boat houses, all of them. And it's very simple, so, but very charming. And I'm impressed that people in Sandøya, they were so they were welcoming all the guests into the houses. But this festival, it grew bigger and bigger, and then the question is was it getting better? Because at the most we had 110 volunteers, and maybe 500 guests. So almost the whole population of Sandøya was working in the festival. So we decided to go smaller. We bought a boat, and it's I think it must be the smallest culture house in Norway. And the boat is 68 feet. And there's room for 50 people under deck. And we have had this boat for 8 years. Every town in Norway, I think, must have a cultural house. Even though some are very small, but this must be the smallest one. There were also 3 cabins and with 7 beds in this boat, and kitchen and toilet. And we have had a lot of activities here. But there were also a lot to do on the boat, repairing, and always something to repair or paint, or yeah. During these 8 years, we had 365 opening nights. And we had the pirate trip for children. We had storytelling, movie nights. We had lots of concerts, maybe 200 concerts, open mic. And we also went to Porsgrunn to fight for the school, which is the whole idea here, fighting for the local community. So we had to give up the boat. We sold it for 1 kroner. That's almost free. But we keep on making places to meet. It's very important when you live in a small society. This is an area nearby the school where we have a fruit garden with 80 fruit trees. And we made an outdoor kitchen and a pizza oven. And we also have put light along a 35 meter long stone wall. So it's very magical in the winter time. So when we don't have this boat anymore and we don't have the festival, what do people do? the last years we have had one market day in the summer where people bring their own stand, and that's of course less risky. It's a very nice thing. But I think that people always will want to have meeting places. One year it was in 2017. We had this meeting place by the ferry. It was a summer job for young people, where they had they were selling coffee, and it was a cafe, and it was a tourist information. You could rent a bike there, and they sold arts and crafts from locals. We had concerts during the summer, and they also had an environmental project focusing on plastic in the sea. And you can also get guided tours from this spot. As I said before, Brevik is the mainland hub, only 10 minutes from Sandøya. It's a small city or town, and it's a very nice little town. Small wooden houses, and but the shops are closing down one by one, and now there's only a sports store and a grocery store left. Almost, yeah. You can see the bridge there, and on the other side there's a shopping center. So all the stores has gone there. Okay. We have a studio in Brevik, which we call Orange. It's both a working place and it's a meeting place. We have 4 people, 4 artists, different professions. And when we started this, one of the first projects was Draw Your Dream City. That's because we saw that Brevik was dying when all the stores were moving, and the library closed down, the bank, the post, everything. So what do we do then? This here you can see Orange, our studio, to left, and there's a really nice square in the front. And at that time, in 2014, there were 8 others around this square. So we collaborated and to put focus on life in the town. I think that our studio and has made a lot of life. We have had 15 exhibitions and 22 concerts since 2014. Following the exhibition, there is also an interview by with the artist, which is very popular. And we have also tried tango dancing, and we have had a lot of workshops, and also cafe, an internet cafe. In 2017, we joined the Greenlight District Festival, which is a national festival focusing on ecology, technology, and the role of human beings, and what happens when industry closes. Brevik is in a very industrial area. In Norway, it's well known. Grenland has a lot of industry and pollution. In Brevik, you have the cement factory, but now the mines have a lack of raw material, which is lime, and they have been talking about closing down. So what do we want to have in these mines when it closes? The authorities started planning a national dumping place for toxic wastes, and of course we are protesting against that, and I think that it won't happen, but we have fought for a long time. So in this festival we had focus on this, and we had an exhibition where all the artists were using this theme, and we had a speaker's corner where you could tell your opinion, and we invited politicians and other. So there was a lot of focus on this for a long time. Now, lately, two years has gone with COVID-19, and we haven't had much outgoing projects, but so we'll see what we will do in the future. I think that's about all I have.
Thank you very much. Okay, I have just a few questions on you.
Yes.
Did you have a support from local politicians, or was it entirely citizen initiative?
It was a citizen initiative. Yes. Are you thinking about the festival?
Yes.
Yes. But we had contacts in the cultural department. They were supporting us, lending us what do you call it? A scene? Stage. So and we also they supported us by lending us audio and lighting equipment.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And are your events visited mostly by locals, or what is the proportion of visitors from mainland, on the island, or non-locals from the Brevik festival?
Our goal was to be more visible, so we discussed that a lot. Because that's when you plan such a festival, it's how big do you want to be? So we ended up being, our goals or ambitions was to maybe attract more people, but we ended up by having mostly locals or from the nearest cities.
Thank you. And
the bands.
Yeah, and I have a question about like these meeting places, which I really like. Are you designing them together with local community, or is there like someone who designs it and it's done, or how is the process of making these places?
We are like Sandøya Live, the festival. We were a bunch of people sharing the responsibility for each part. Like one had the graphic, one had the rig. You say that? When the planning the area and putting up tents and the circus tent and safety on this festival area.
Skolens møteplass. Skolen. Utekjøkkenet.
Yeah.
Tror jeg det var det mulig for.
Oh, was it the kitchen, outdoor kitchen?
Yeah, it was about this, like as you presented the meeting places, like this kitchen and.
Yes. The outdoor kitchen. It was we invited 10 American students, architect students, who made this outdoor kitchen together with the leader or a teacher.
Thank you very much, Greta. Thank you. And the last speaker is Lucia Pašková. Lucia, hello.
Hello.
Hi. I will
Thank
just
you,
introduce
Greta, for your presentation.
So I will just introduce you before you start. So Lucia Pašková is experienced CEO with 16-year history of work in the oral care industry. She's a serial entrepreneur, skilled in business, coaching, advertising, brand building, marketing, strategy, and sales management. Strong business development professional with passion for education and work with students. She's certified designer of permaculture gardens, board member of the association Bystriny, Slovak Debate Association, Nexteria Foundation of City Bratislava, co-founder of projects Who Will Help Slovakia and Who Will Help Ukraine. Hello, Lucia. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, please share your screen and start with the presentation.
Thank you very much. I will try. I will probably do it this way because I found out that I might have a problem with GDPR as I'm showing the digital tools we are using for the database. So okay. I will jump then through it, and okay. I wanted to blur it, but I wasn't able to. So I will be very quick in this. What I will talk about is cultural policies supported by digital tools, but not by means of culture as art, but more about culture as values. And this is the topic I'm dealing with for a long time. I basically started like 8 years ago when I found out that the trust level in Slovakia is so low between the sectors that it actually doesn't allow the society to grow fast enough towards democracy. And I believe that trust is a tool which, makes everything faster and which helps everything, develop better. So when I will talk about cultural policy, I'm talking about the policy of trust. And I will be talking about three different cases when we were trying to, through three different projects, develop deeper trust in democracy, in principles of solidarity or love for each other, and how we have done it. First project was made by Bystriny, the NGO which I'm in the board of. Bystriny in English means spring, like spring by means of start of the river, when the river is still small, but it has a great power, like getting stronger every kilometer it goes. So Bystriny is basically initiative or NGO which is looking for local organizations and active citizens all around Slovakia, which are helping local cultural, like creating cultural local hubs, or developing certain citizen actions towards improving the life in regional cities of Slovakia. And what we are trying to do in Bystriny is that we are trying to connect them together so that they could learn from each other and improve their skills in different levels, be inspired by each other and grow. The first project I'm going to present was a conference which was called Divided Country. This is the situation in Slovakia, that people are very divided. It doesn't matter when it comes to the topic of vaccination or war, or like we have basically a split of 50% of people who are pro or against something. So we were trying to look for projects which would unify and see like what could people see in common. So first part of the presentation or of the conference was called Divided Country. And that was like how that was more about how the trust is created, how the trust is created towards individuals, how the trust is created between organizations, and how do we start to trust into system. And this was like a presentation by the local super great scientists. And then the third day was called United Country, and that was an idea hack where basically they were the audience of this conference were people from different sectors, from public sector, from NGO sector, businesses, education, media, and then they were divided into groups that they chose, working on projects which would help strengthen trust. And one of the projects was our project, and it was made to provide trust and solidarity in time of COVID. It was called Help Compass, or Compass of Help, and the idea came by that many people have felt alone during COVID based on they were believing that they were not able to rely on state when it comes to some compensation from state. And especially because the system of help were, I would say, quite complicated and unclear, and which was easy to solve by the companies who have army of lawyers or army of accountants, because you have somebody professional dealing with it. But a lot of small companies or freelancers or even individual people were not able to do it. And so we were trying to look for solutions. How could these people who are basically left alone in their problem during COVID get support, that somebody is thinking of them and that somebody is actually trying to help them find the correct mechanism or support scheme which would they apply for. So what we have done is that we were a group of 15 people from different fields, as I mentioned, but there were also then added more and more volunteers, and we got as a solution a chatbot, a digital tool, which was having, like you have a legal law, which was quite complicated to read, but basically we split it into line of questions, which were simple questions. When you answered them, you basically found yes and no answer. And after all, you found the correct scheme, which is applicable for you. And you could even ask professionals whether this really applies to you if you have some specific situation. So we were working when it comes to digital tools with chatbot and Notion. And then we had the call center with Cloud Talks, which was also working with the chatbot. And we know by the numbers of people visiting the website that more than 10,000 people use the chatbot. And we get 1,000 extra, more than 1,000 extra individual questions, which were then replied by 30 volunteers who were accountants, lawyers, or admins. We were able to cooperate with the presidential office, who was then supplying this kind of special requests to improve the system, because many of the questions, basically, we found out who is not fitting into the criteria to get some support. So we were supplying this kind of information to the presidential office, and the president was then delivering it to the ministries. So I will just play the video. This is how it looked. We were using the scheme, which actually looked like a state scheme. And you can see here, there is a Kompas Pomoci, means help compass, and it's understandable help with the donations or with compensations. And it was directed towards private person, freelancers, or legal bodies, or NGO. So you had very different receiver of help. And I will just play the video that I recorded, how it's been used. So basically you had the chance to click, and with every click there was a possibility for you to choose like what is next step. Here is like, I'm looking for help for employees. I need to take care of a close person. There is a pandemic care, a special offer, and then like you could choose basically what target group you are taking care of, and then even if you didn't find reply to your specific question, you had a chance to leave in the end like specific case that you were having, and in that case your situation or your description would fall into the group of lawyers and accountants who are educated in this and specific who have much better orientation than we normal people, I would say, and they were able to direct you then to all the necessary resources which you need to solve, or even to tell that there is no such scheme which would fit you. I will just try to jump through this. And as I said, that this tool was used by more than 10,000 people. And we were very happy that we managed to put together several sponsors. This is where the unreplied questions fell into. This was like what was the description of the people who didn't find the answer, and this Notion tool was then connected to I would say 30 volunteers who were accountants and lawyers, and they were replying, and the call center was sending the specific answers back. So as I said, like we had more than 1,000 requests, specific requests answered by this. And I was personally amazed about how this could be working, because we were able to do it within 1 month, all this, after the compensations were available. Okay, so the next topic I will be talking about, it's initiative which is called Who Will Help Slovakia. We started this initiative in 3 days after the first case, or maybe 2 days after the first case of corona patient in Slovakia. For those of you who are watching and don't know it, when COVID started in Europe, we were just before the governmental elections. So we knew that when actually we had elections on 29th of February, and the COVID started like 2 weeks after, but we still didn't have the new government in charge, and the old government was leaving. So we knew that we were, facing some kind of vacuum when it comes to what will happen next and who will be responsible if something goes wrong. So we basically started this initiative where my professional business is in dentistry, or let's say oral care. So I'm working with the business with dentists. So I knew that there is no protective equipment available by most of the health professionals. And we started this initiative, which were able to raise 1.3 million in 3 weeks' time to purchase and send protective equipment to health workers and elderly homes all around Slovakia, because the situation was like that the state stocks of protective equipment were empty. And as you know, that usually the tenders take, or that kind of legal procedure, when you want to purchase something for the state, it takes more than 3 months till it's finished. And with the COVID doesn't wait. So we were very happy and lucky that we were able to put together an organization or initiative of more than 100 people within really a week, where we created call center. We were, receiving requests from different health organizations who were needing the protective equipment. And we had like purchase department who was able to buy it and deliver it. And all this happened really in days and weeks time. Like we were having the same day delivery, so that everything that we purchased was able to be the same day or maximum the next day available. So this happened very quickly, and I will be talking, as this is the conference about culture policy supported by digital tools, I will be talking also about what digital tools we were using. And originally we were really just using traditional social media and shared Google Docs. And I will show you in the video very, very quickly, like how we were using it. Basically, it was a shared Google Doc where 40 people from the volunteer call center had access to, and they were all in the real time calling back 40 health offices or hospitals at the same time, and writing down what is the situation with them, who is more urgent, who still has something, like who really needs it urgently because they already have a COVID patient and so. When the first wave of COVID stopped and we got a little bit better situation, we started to work with that application called Solved, which is basically a matching tool. We wanted to move on to the stage where the initiative Who Will Build Slovakia shouldn't be a bottleneck. So, because originally with this shared Google Doc, and I will show you where we had like 2,000 people who requested help, and we were the ones who were delivering and purchasing and doing all the operations. But we wanted to be gone from this position, and we wanted to create a tool where those who need help and those who can offer help can be visible to each other. So we basically use the tool, which is like a Airbnb in this kind of thing. So you had organizations who were requesting help and stating what they need, and then you had the organization who were ready to help, taking them directly and just showing that this is solved, this is solved. So this was excellent tool, and which we were using then for another year. And here is just some pictures that the people were sending us, when they get delivered the protective equipment. These were the food for seniors, because this was also provided, and people delivering different kind of protective materials all around Slovakia. So now I will play the video, and I hope I will be able to. So this was the website of Who Will Help Slovakia, and this is the amount of hospital, ambulances, social services, and how many things we delivered. This is gloves, chirurgic mask, and this is the Megamantic folder that we were using. So you can see that there is this is the amount of requests. This was like a unofficial CRM that we were using, and the CRM was able to grasp all these almost 2,000 requests, and 50 people at once were able to work with it, even if it was very partisan way of doing it, but it was quite successful. And we were able to do this together with, this was the side where you had like how many things were requested. And on the other side was how many things were delivered. So we were working all with this one table. And when it was like something was delivered, it just moved from one side to another. And this was the system we were using to make it work. And now I'm just thinking, okay, so well, we were, I would say, COVID was lasting almost till end of February, like strong waves of COVID, like one after each other were coming. And then unfortunately in the end of February, as we all know, the war in Ukraine started, and we unfortunately had to switch from, or I would say, we simply switched from topic how to help Slovakia into how to help Ukraine, and we started again, like when it comes to cultural policies, we would like to strengthen the policy of solidarity. So what we have managed to do with the initiative Who Will Help Ukraine, which is also grassroots initiatives, I would say now we have like almost 200 volunteers participating, just when it comes to operations, but we have another 800 volunteers when it comes to work in a field on the border, accommodating in different cities in Slovakia and so. And we raised more than 1.7 million in 2 months. It just grew as a small company. We started to accommodate people. So we had what was excellent and different from the initiative Who Will Help Slovakia is that we had excellent people from IT when it comes to digital tools, who helped us to create the tools which really made the operations much better. And at the beginning, there were also Google Docs and formulas, and we are still using it. But we also use Notion, where you have the database of the people who need help, Then you have the database of people who offer help and also people who offer transport. And you basically make a match, like a road of all three of these together. And that's how we have also safe trajectory for people who were helped. And I'm already running out of time, so I will just switch to the last technical or digital tool that we were using, which was very helpful. This is Xenia, our voice bot. We had a database of more than 6,000 people which were offering accommodation. It was altogether almost 22,000 beds available through the like private people. But we needed the database to be updated. Otherwise, it took a long time. Imagine that somebody applied for help and you started to call people who offered accommodation, but you came to the point where you had to call 4 people and to find the flat where somebody could come. So we used the chatbot Xenia, which was named after a girl from Ukraine who was hidden in the underground. And our graphic designer actually created this image of her, which was interesting because she was inspired by Xenia, who actually looked like this. So we were, like once we saw the picture of the real Xenia, but it was pretty nice story to tell. And we are using the image of Xenia now. Like Xenia is the person who delivers the messages to the people who are helping and also to the Ukrainian people living in Slovakia. So this is the map of help, which is now available on our website. And I will probably leave you with that because I'm already running out of time. I cannot hear you, Zuzka.
Can
Now
you hear me?
it should.
Yeah. Okay. Like batteries ran out like for last 2 minutes of the of the presentations. Yeah. So sorry, I will just have one quick question for you. It's a big topic. It's like really amazing job you can do. And you are combining like third sector help or like help of citizens with the state help. How does it work? How your communication with the state work? Is it that you are just digging out all the information you need, or do you have any support from state to have all valid information or the most current information for your websites?
I would say that it depends on the ministry. It depends on the state representative we are talking to. When it comes to the presidential office, it's great cooperation. Some ministries, for example, Ministry of Transport is actually cooperating quite well. We are trying to inform each other and even meet every 2 weeks to understand what is the situation, what they are planning, and what is the situation. We are giving them feedback, like what could be improved, because if we are still receiving requests, even if they have the system already starting, so we are trying to look for where are the leak points where the system is not working. So some of the ministries, not so good. So I would say, but we are not giving up.
Thank you very much. It's really amazing job you are doing with all of this, accessibility to information, because it's not so easy to find them within all of these websites of the ministries, of different ministries. And I would have so many questions for you, but we are running out of time, so maybe we can speak after. Thank you very much to all of you who will participating at the at today's program, and I will just finish with the thank to support from Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway through EEA and Norway grants. And have a nice rest of the day.